Hey everyone, welcome to part 2. So I just took a break, paused it, and wrote down a ton more notes. I hope it's a little bit more organized, but to be honest with you, it won't be. So just prepare for that now. It's going to be a little bit all over the place, just like the last one was. But I am so excited to record part 2. And not going to lie, I know myself really well, right? We've talked about this. I think I might cry during this one. So the last one was just giggles the whole time. And this one, I think there are going to be a few tears that escape, so not going to lie to you. I think it's good then. I broke it up into 2 parts, and that means I can kind of separate them, but there will still be some funny parts, because I don't know if it would be my podcast if it wasn't, and I'm sure I'll still giggle and laugh, but I think a few tears might escape, and maybe you won't even be able to tell, but maybe you will. Who knows? I actually wrote down a few things that are kind of vulnerable for me, so I will share them when I get to them. Just a reminder that this is going to be all over the place, so just know that's going to happen, and let's get started. That being said, part of me is really scared to get started because there's this aspect of procrastinating, once again, trying to make sure that it is good, and I just don't want to mess up. I just don't want to do it wrong. And there's probably not even a right way to do it or a wrong way to do it or whatever. But I just don't know what to start with and what to end with because I want to end on like a powerful note. But also, I don't know. So, I don't know. Let's just see what happens, I suppose. Okay, well, first thing I want to say is that I'm so grateful for GroupMe. We aren't allowed to have any of the youth's personal information, so we can't have their phone number, they can't have ours, we can't have their emails, they can't have ours, no Snapchat or anything like that. They are allowed, and we are allowed to follow each other on Instagram and on Be Real, which is another social media app, but we can't contact each other privately. So the GroupMe is perfect because you don't have to get personal information to be in a group together. You can actually just scan a QR code and then join a group. So I'm so grateful for GroupMe because I've been able to stay in contact with my kids, and that has helped me a lot. And honestly, when you create connections with, and I call you guys kids, or I call them kids because it is 1000% a term of endearment. I just love them so much, and so they're like my kids, whether or not I'm 4 or 5 years older than them, maybe even 3 years older than them, or 2 years older than them, whatever, however old they are, they still feel like my kids. So just know when I say that, it's not demeaning. It is, honestly, I hope you take it as a compliment because I love you so much. So anyway, I'm going to continue to call you my kids because my youth just doesn't sound as familiar. I don't know. Maybe youth, maybe my participants really had a great week. I'm just kidding. But yeah, participants is normally how they're described, but I feel like saying my kids is more personal. So I hope you know that that's a compliment and not a demeaning thing. So just wanted to hurry and put that out there. Anyway, I hope you guys don't roast me for saying anyway all the time. It's better than anyways, and I'll teach you guys something real quick. Fun fact, anyways is grammatically incorrect. It will never, ever, ever be anyways. It is always anyway. So, fun fact, if you're curious about that, now you know. It's better than saying like, right? If I were to sit there and be like, okay, moving on. I don't know. Anyway, see, I did it again. That's just what my go-to. It's my go-to. So rather than saying other words, I'll say and so, or I'll say anyway, or I'll say moving on, or I'll go okay, and yeah, so. See, I really want to say it now. Moving on. I say moving on sometimes too. Moving on. I am really excited to record this. I'm also a little bit nervous, and as I've stated, I don't even know if I'm going to have enough time. So I've got to talk fast, and I've got to come to the point, but also, if more time is needed, I'll figure it out when I need to figure it out. Right now is not the time. So, here we go. And I've already said here we go like 8 times, but it's okay. So, one of the fun things that I did for my kids is that I made a video for them, okay? So, I took videos and pictures throughout the week. I took videos of us at the dance. On Tuesday, I got a picture with every single person at the dance, I think except one. And I took videos on Friday of them at the dance, and then I took videos of them on Wednesday during games night, playing games, running around. There's this game where you act, and you are basically given a role or an ailment, and you have to act that out. So some of the things that I've done is a swarm of bees is chasing you, or you're scared of water, or you're a vlogger, and so you're vlogging crossing the Sweetwater. And anyway, the game's called Crossing the Sweetwater River, and you have a runner or a rescuer, and they just basically jump in the scene, and then you cross the river together. And I took a ton of videos, and then my Curtis took a whole bunch of videos. By the way, I just wanted to give a shout out to Curtis. He was incredible. One of the nice things about this year is that there's an on-site app with all of our information, all of the kids' information, all of our co's information, the counselor's information, and it's really, really nice. And if you find like a stray youth or a lost youth and they don't know where their counselor is, and let's say they can't even remember their counselor because sometimes they're like, you can actually look their name up and find who their counselor is. So it's really nice. Another nice thing about that is that on Saturday night at midnight, so Sunday morning, you can find out all of your girls, all of your boys, and then who your co is. And before, last year, it was this kind of this weird, I don't know, not vibe, but it was just kind of this weird game of like who you're going to end up with, who am I going to be co's with, because you wouldn't know until Sunday around 8 or 9 p.m., 8:30, 9 p.m., and they would just announce it and everything was on paper. All of your used names were on paper and your duties were on paper, and they just would hand you stuff. And so you just basically had a ton of paper every week. It was just a lot. But now this year it's all on this website, this app or whatever, and it has been amazing. So I was awake at Saturday at midnight, not on purpose, trying to stay up to find out who my co was, but I was just awake. And I looked and I saw that it was Curtis. And my mind went, this is so embarrassing. I have no idea who that is. I have never had a conversation with him. I don't know who that is. And we'd already been there for a week, so at least it wasn't 2 weeks, because that would have been really embarrassing. But we were already there for a week. Keep in mind, there were 58 staff there, so it's not like there are only 20 of us or 30 of us or something. There were 58 of us, a number like that, around that ballpark. And I hadn't talked to him. Don't think I met him either. And so when his name popped up, I was like, shoot, I have no idea who this is. And so then on Sunday, as we were going to church, I kind of like spotted him. And I guess we didn't go to church that week. We went to one of the buildings and had state conference Zoom to us or broadcast or whatever. So I saw him then and then didn't really say hi because I was like, I don't know. I guess part of me was like nervous. I don't know why, but it was just like the fact that I hadn't talked to him yet was like, this is embarrassing. And so then later we finally said hey to each other, and I was like, it's embarrassing that I haven't talked to you yet. And he was like, no, it's totally okay. I mean, I haven't talked to you either. So he was awesome. I mean, he was awesome. And every time I was like, they were like, who's your co? And I'd be like, oh, Curtis. Almost every single person was like, oh my gosh, he's the best. And I say almost because I think some people didn't know him super well. But most people were like, oh my gosh, he's the best, or he's so sweet, or he's so kind or thoughtful. And so I was like, sweet, I'm excited. But that whole week was just excellent and amazing, and it wouldn't have been as good if I didn't have Curtis as a co. So thank you, Curtis, so much. And I hope you all thank him as well, because he just was amazing and so go with the flow and easygoing, a good teammate and someone who I could rely on and trust. And I knew that when I was on break and he was with the kids or the youth, that they were in good hands. And so thank you, Curtis, so much. But the reason Curtis's name came up is because he was also recording and took pictures. So I got pictures from him and videos from him. And then I got a few pictures and stuff from the youth as well, and I made a video for them. I made a video for my youth week 1 as well, and the video was 13 minutes. 13 minutes and 42 seconds or something. I made that up. I know it's 13 minutes. I don't know how long the seconds were, but yeah, 13 minutes. I knew I had so many videos and pictures from the second week with my kids that I was like, shoot, this is not going to be a 10-minute video. So I kept asking my kids, I'm like, guys, is it okay if it's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes? And Mason was just, okay. First of all, I just love Mason so much. And I'm going to try to give a little I love to each of my youth at the end of this. But Mason was so fun, and I just loved him, and I'm going to tell a little story about him later. But he was like, I don't even care if you make it a movie. Just make it a movie. Have it be 30 minutes. Have it be 40 minutes. And so then I stopped stressing about how long it was, and it ended up being 32 minutes and 11 seconds, I think. On the seconds, I'm not sure once again. But it was 32 minutes, which is insane to me. One of the cool things about iPhones, and I have an iPhone, so go Apple, I don't know, is it has screen time. And maybe all the other smartphones have screen time as well, but it was telling me how long I was on this editing app. And it said in 1 week, I had been on this editing app 6 hours and 42 minutes. And that was only 1 week. And then the week prior, when I was still with my kids and I was like kind of making the video as I went and just adding pictures and videos, it had to been at least an hour or more the week prior. So basically what I'm trying to say is I spent at least 7 to 8 hours on this video for them. And I hope they know that that means that I love them so much. And I spent the time to add little sound effects in there. I spent the time to add little stickers and emojis and words. And I spent the time to slow things down to make it funny and speed things up in certain points so we didn't have to watch someone like walk. So I just hope they know. I just really, really hope they know that I love them. Also, at the very end, I added a little super, super, super extremely embarrassing video of me saying I love you. And that's in that video too. So if you really want to see it, you can. It's on YouTube. I added that in there too because I kind of ended up telling them this whole story and there was a video and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I love them. And I honestly don't think they will ever know how much because words just don't say. You know, it's ineffable to describe. My love for them is ineffable. And I'm pretty sure I did that as a word of the day previously. But basically it means it's undescribable or unnumerable. Right? So lots and lots. I made a video for them, love them so much, many, many ways, but I've done a few different things to show that love, so I hope they feel it because it's there. It's very there. It's very present. It's very there. It's important for me to let them know that. So if you're listening, I love you so much. That sounded like I didn't mean it, but I do. Okay. One of the things that we talked about on Fridays, we talked about like red and green flags and what we look for in partners and what's attractive to us. And it was just this fun, cute little conversation. There's no romance at FSY. That's one of the like strict rules. There's no pranks or deep doctrine, political, romantic pranks. All those things are at FSY. But we were just talking about things that are green flags and red flags and talking about things that we'd want in a partner. And so I think that was allowed. But anyway, we were just joking about that. And Mason, once again, was at the dance and he was dancing with his twin sister because she wanted to, and on the video I put like a picture of a green flag. So just like kind of fun things like that. We were all talking about how people who are humble and meek are super, super attractive and the green flags. And anyway, so that was just another fun thing that we talked about. I want to make sure, oh my gosh guys, it's already been 14 minutes and 30 seconds. This is insane. I'm sure it's different because I'll have edited some of it out, but I can't even believe it's already been that long. This is embarrassing. I have so much to say. Okay, but before I forget, because there's a lot of different things and I want to make sure I get this, I kind of want to give a little message to each of my youth. And if it's not as wordy or long as others, please don't compare because that's not even accurate of how I feel or anything. Just keep in mind that it's hard to express in words how I feel. So I kind of just want to, shout out each person. There were 4 people who didn't reply, so I just assumed they didn't. But for those 4 people, I am extremely, extremely grateful you are in my group and in my company. 2 of the girls were a little bit more shy and less talkative, but they were awesome. And though I didn't hear their spoken testimonies, I have a very, very strong belief that unspoken testimonies have a huge impact on those around. And so what we believe and what we know matters. And even if we don't share it, there is this unspoken testimony and this spirit around us. And when we were saying goodbye, one of them said, "I'm not ready to say goodbye to you yet. Thank you so much for everything." And I feel like that was one of the best things that I've ever heard because I like I said, one of them didn't talk, both of them didn't really talk as much, and then one of the other ones just said, I love you, and I know how hard it can be to say I love you to someone, and so it meant a lot, but those are two of the girls that didn't really reply, and that is totally, totally okay, but I did want to just say something about them too. One of them was honestly one of the cutest ever. He ran for our games night, and he was super fast, and he helped us win one of the games, and he was so kind and so sweet, and I just loved him and love him. And then the other one, he had a super great, I don't know if character is the right word, but he was a lot more talkative on Friday and more, I don't know what words I'm looking for, but I really enjoyed having him in my group as well, and I'm grateful that I got to know him. So for those 4 that didn't reply to that, just know that I am grateful and I love you all as well. So anyway, okay, let's just start with how I wrote it down, and I wrote Carter and Mason don't care if I use their name as long as I don't do them dirty. Then I have Abby, AJ, Micah, Molly, Hailey, Emma, Lauren, and then Bennett. So that's all 10. I'm just going to start at the first and go down. And honestly, this might be a 3-part episode, and they might hate me, but that's okay. Oh well. Okay, so Carter honestly helped me so much at the beginning of the week, and I don't think he knows how much of an impact he had on me, but the first few days were really hard to connect to the boys. I feel like I didn't really, connect with them, and I think they viewed me as super aggressive, and I wonder why. I'm just kidding. I'm very sarcastic. My little brother, he's 15. You'll see an episode with him, and he is such a goober, and I just love him with all my heart. But how we get along and how we show each other that we love each other is we tease incessantly, and we push each other around, and he's aggressive with me, and I'm aggressive with him, but it's like, it's all fun and games and love, and so anyway, I've kind of implemented that last year and this year with the teenage boys that I get to know, and normally it works out. It works out really well, and it's been good. It doesn't always work out. Some of the kids just are too, busy or just don't care, but a lot of the times it helps and it does good, and that's kind of my personality too, is kind of just a fun, goofy, somewhat assertive. I don't know. I just don't like to mess around. I mean, I do. This is confusing. I already know. But what I'm trying to say is I am not someone who lets people walk all over them. It's not okay with me. It ticks me off. I don't like it. And so if the boys aren't listening or the girls aren't listening or whatever, whichever week, I'm not saying it was this week specifically, but any week, then, I have a loud voice, and so I use it, and I don't yell, but it's more like, hey, listen up, I didn't say that as loud as I could, but it's more like, guys, come on, we're leaving, or whatever. I can come across as aggressive, and I really, truly mean it with love. It's never really like, ugh, they're driving me crazy, though sometimes they are, but I have never said it because I'm mad, or because I'm, like, super, super angry with them. It's more like I don't know if exhausted's the right word, but yeah, I don't yell at my kids, but I definitely have a loud voice and a strong voice, and I use it. And so some of my kids think I'm aggressive, and that's totally fair, and I hope that they know that I am not actually aggressive, but anyway, that's not important. What I'm trying to say is Carter helped me a ton at the beginning of the week, because he was consistent throughout the whole week. I feel like I didn't have to prove myself to Carter. I feel like he already was willing to be friends and have a connection, and he was so loving and caring and funny. I feel like he was kind of the glue. He really helped the girls and the guys bond together and become friends, and I am so grateful for that. So Carter, thank you so much, and I truly am honestly just so blessed to have you in my group and have you in my company, because I know how valuable your input was and how important you were to our unity and to our bond, and obviously so many other things, but thank you so much. I really, really appreciated how open you were and how I didn't feel like I had to prove myself to you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, and it means so much to me. I'm going to skip Mason because I'm going to come back to him. And then Abby, man, I don't even want to get started. She is incredible, and I just have a big smile on my face. First of all, I really want you guys not to compare the messages I'm giving each of you, because words and what I'm saying on this podcast do not completely reflect how I feel. I feel like there's so much more. So just know that. So Abby was just so excited to be there on Monday. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen someone more excited to be there. And she kind of hyped up all the girls to be super excited to be there. She was so kind and so sweet, and also helped the boys and the girls get to know each other better. She and Carter had this fun little pretend feud where I think he like squirted her with his water bottle or with a squirt gun or something. And so it became this thing where she was trying to get him with water and get him wet. And so there was a few different times she chased after him and tried to like fling her water at him. But Abby, my darling girl, you do not know how to throw water from a cup, because she would throw it up and then it would like land on her as she was running. Someone needs to teach you how to project the water out of your cup. But anyway, she was just awesome, and she was the one who did the Mormon Riz. She had so much hype and so much excitement, and when she was having a bad day, she didn't let that stop her from reaching out and being kind to others, and I just admire her so much. And she also was just such a hype girl for me. She made me feel better. She supported me. She was amazing. So Abby, I hope you did shed that tear that you said you were going to, and if you haven't, now's the time. Come on, get those lacrimals working. Okay, that was embarrassing of me. Anyway, okay, AJ. I kind of already talked about AJ in the last episode, but I was so grateful for AJ. I totally, completely, sarcastically roasted him on day one, and I felt awful about it. But I just want to say that he is a very, very responsible and mature young man, and he was so thoughtful and insightful. And anytime we had a question, he was one of the first people to raise his hand and bring the spirit there. And he was so kind, so kind. And I know that he was so thoughtful and meek and had such a soft heart, and I just loved him. And watching him at Testwood meeting, he felt the spirit and got a little emotional, and it was so, so incredible to take part of and to watch. And one of my favorite things, honestly, it was just so cool, so cool. I just loved it. It was awesome, and I loved AJ, and he was awesome. So AJ, I hope you know that you were so awesome, and I'm very grateful for you. Okay, Micah and Molly, they're twins. I don't feel like it's very fair if I do them together, because they're twins, and their whole lives they've been put together, so I'm going to separate them. So, Micah, you're first. You were awesome. So fun and so goofy, and I just loved having you in our group. I loved that you were so, excited and helpful, and I remember you had an awesome zombie run during Sweetwater River, and I love that you were constantly there. I mean, I just feel like you were always present, and whether or not that was obviously physically, but just like mentally and spiritually there, you were just there, and it meant so much to me. Also, I wrote everyone a note, as I've mentioned, and I was 1000% half asleep when I wrote Micah's note, and so it is bonkers. It is bonkers. I think I said, keep your eyes open, but I was telling myself to keep my eyes open because they kept closing. I wrote that down, super embarrassing. I also wrote some other things down. I don't know. I just wrote some whack things down, and you could tell I'm half asleep. So I do apologize, Micah. I wish I wrote you a different note, but I also thought it might have been funny. So anyway, I wrote a few little sticky notes on her thing, but I did want to just acknowledge that note was crazy, and I am sorry. I truly do love you, and my note is not, it is not truthful to how I feel, so I am sorry. Okay, Molly, honestly, when I think about you, I think about, like, being sweet and being peaceful, and just how grateful I was for you and being in our company. On Thursday, you asked a question, and it was such a brave question, and something that I was so happy about. I think questions are so awesome, and your vulnerability and bravery and courage to share your question was so admirable, and so I want to thank you. You were so sweet and so thoughtful, and you were so kind to everyone, and you brought peace and love to all those around. I am so grateful for your impact on our company and for how welcoming you were and how sweet you were, so thank you so much. You guys, it's 26 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm gonna have to do a part 3. This is awful. What? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Well, okay. I'm not even gonna lie. Hailey, Emma, Lauren, and Bennett, I'm gonna have to do you part 3, so that sucks, and I am so sorry. That's literally the worst. I apologize from the bottom of my heart, but it will be worth it when I get to you, so yes, I'm so sorry though. I can't do longer than the 30 minutes. It's like my rule, so yeah, I only have so many minutes before it runs out and cuts me off anyway, so I will get to you though, promise. I haven't forgotten about you, and I haven't forgotten about Mason either, because I have a whole story, and I guess my vulnerable thing will be next episode. Oh, I can't even imagine that I've done this again. Well, anyway, the word of the day is inexorable, and it is Inexorable, and it is impossible to stop or prevent. It's an adjective. Another thing is of a person, they're impossible to persuade by request or entreaty. So basically it's a synonym is relentless or unstoppable. And I feel like seeing each other again is inexorable, or our love for each other, our friendship is inexorable. It is impossible to stop or prevent. It will happen. And I am so grateful for modern technology and for the ability to communicate, because we can figure it out and we can make it work. It is inexorable. Also, our company name was A Marvelous Work, and that is so perfect for inexorable. The work is inexorable. This is a marvelous, inexorable work. It is impossible to stop. It is impossible to prevent. It will happen, and it will cover each corner of the earth, and will sweep the nation and sweep the world, and globally it will be unstoppable. And so I'm so excited for that day when every tongue and every knee shall bow. It's inexorable, so I hope you know that. The quote of the day is from Jeffrey Holland. I mean, you guys know how much I love him. This is from his worldwide devotional, the one I got to go in person. And one of the quotes he said is, "Hope is the privilege of everyone who believes." And he also says, "Hope on, pray always, and be believing." And I want you to know that I have hope that we will see each other again. I have hope that our friendship will last. I have hope that our relationships will stay strong. And I am so grateful to Heavenly Father and to Jesus Christ for crossing our paths together, because it's been life-changing, honestly. And I am so grateful for that. Once again, I apologize. It's going to be 3 episodes. And for those that have to wait, that's going to be the worst thing in the whole world. So I am so sorry. But know that it is coming. I'm going to stop this and record it again. I love you all so much. I hope you know how much the Savior loves you. And I'll be back for part 3.